that around a little bit. And so what we're going to do is for the first 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to share about the automations. Basically, we're looking at sales automation. One is connected to what we did last time. And last time we worked on leadership. And we looked at creating an automation that will enable a leader to brainstorm an idea on her or his phone in 5 areas. First is pitching. If you have a new pitch, you're a client or a partner you're going to pitch to. The second is publishing. And we are connecting that publishing that we brainstormed to an automation today. And that will automatically create 3 different posts. These posts are not going to be published. They're only going to be draft form. And so the leader can make sure she or he has full control over them. In the past, or actually in the recent past, we've got several people who would actually try to, just let AI do it all. And we're missing humanity there. And we're missing real people. So as Gary Vee says, instead of being like the Jetsons with the space age and the waiters and everything is zipping around, we need to be more like the Flintstones and talk to people. And so that part of sending messages, you can tell when you look at someone's profile and you can tell that it's been AI generated. You look at a post, you can tell that it's been AI generated because it has the 3 little tick marks over on the left-hand side. And yes, I use AI to generate a lot of information, but I also want to pull back and use that and make it mine, give it my voice and add some of my details to it. So what we're going to start with today is that, I'm sorry, I didn't finish with the introduction. And then for last week, we also looked at productizing. How can a leader go through a new product idea? And we created a bot or an AI agent that would ask questions to lead that leader to refining that idea before she or he introduces it to the team. And this is huge because it's, instead of just going to the team and saying, hey, fix this. I had that as co-founder once. He would come in with a new idea and say, hey, make this work. And then I ended up spending, actually my team would end up spending all this time on something that, maybe couldn't work. So then the next is that personal leader profile. We created an agent that would help make sure that your profile on LinkedIn and everywhere else is consistent with your brand, vision, mission, values, origin story, and behavior maxims. And then the final thing is partnering. We wanted to make sure that that leader partners well. Well, on the second agent from last time, one was called publishing. And so we'll pick that up in this session here. Okay, so let me go find it. So when a leader completes the previous one, my cheat sheet, by the way, is I use on Claude, Sonnet, on Poe to do these. I'll tell it what I want, and I'll say run it for me. And I'll show you, I'll give you a little demonstration here in a minute. May or may not work, but so now what we have is AI chat. Okay. When we get a trigger from a submission, okay, a leader goes in, he does the brainstorming. I narrowed it down just to keep things simple. Does the brainstorming, and then we come up with these 3 key points and next steps. From this, these topic, key points, and next steps will go into this automation. They are the trigger, and then it gives us a session ID and Then we'll check, is it publishing? Because remember, there's 5 different agents. And if it's not publishing, then it'll just let it go. Then it will go into the sheets and then get all the information. We go into our agent. So actually, I should show these. So here, it will go trigger that account, the Google Sheets trigger account. We'll go into that, there. I'll change that to the record. And then when it says row added, right? When that row added happens, that tends to the end, then it sends this information, and I'm covering up my thing. Okay, in this Google Sheets. Now it's going to create a session ID for me, and this is important for the um, the memory tool later, and I'll get to that in a minute. So once I submit on a different form, because this one's hooked up to last week, it checks it, and then does it. And if it's publishing status, if it's publishing, and in there, say publishing or lowercase publishing. And if it's not, it goes no operations, it finishes. Fair enough. Okay. Then, but if it is, then it comes up here and it will get the row, get all the information, and pass it on to the next one. And so if you're wondering, this is my Google account that I have done before, and it's executions up here. I'll tell you more about that later. But I wanted to get into it today just to help you understand how these work. So then here I have your digital marketing copywriter. Based on these points, create and generate 2 pieces of content: a LinkedIn post, which is basically an email. Then detailed, benefit-driven X workflow, and then here's our summary and our description. So these are the instructions that we've given it. Execute step to test it. Great. Then it's writing the so there's our summary, there's our output, a description. Then we extract the information here. We get summary and description, the key points, topic, session ID. Then we are going to combine the drafts. So we've got an email draft, LinkedIn draft, and a Twitter draft. All of these are happening in a flash. So we've got an email, a LinkedIn, and a Twitter. So now these go to our Google Sheet. And remember, in the post when we were talking about that you read that and got you excited about coming here, and that is we talked about keeping track. Well, this day and age, and there's 2 different camps on this one. There is the yes, sign up to HubSpot and pay more and more and more money for many more tools that you never use. Okay, most of the people in HubSpot use less than 15% of the capability of HubSpot. And I'm picking on HubSpot because I've tried to sign up to HubSpot, and as a solo entrepreneur, I don't have anybody to work with, and I've never been able to use HubSpot, right? But they keep sending me invitations to go up to a higher level. So I'm using HubSpot but there are many of these different providers. Not saying they're bad providers, but now you have the ability to create your own workflows on your own time that you can fix because they are in N8N or Google Sheets. Now, this is a key capability that I want everyone to kind of think about. And that is when you're working on Google Sheets, you have the ability to send out emails on a timely basis with N8N. You can create those emails. You can actually have the control over those emails. The same with HubSpot. or MailChimp or whatever is your provider. The main thing though is that when you are using those providers, they cost more and more money. At first, as a solo entrepreneur, as a new startup entrepreneur, these little things add up fast. Okay. I have a client of mine who, a coaching client, who he has, spending a lot of time and a lot of money on LinkedIn generating leads. When I told him, hey, you can do this with N8N for much less. Yes, you do need to make a few, you got to do some labor yourself. And that is, basically, sending those messages. Excuse me. I was a mentor for the Vietnam chapter right before this. And so they are having their investor progress review, which is in Founders Institute. It's a time when the founders, it's their second big hurdle of whether or not they're going to make it through the Founders Institute, because, and making that second hurdle is kind of the make or break moment. So I've been talking for a while. So anyway, back to the sheet here. So now we keep it in our log, which is our marketing master log. And I'll execute this step here. And so timestamp, session ID, LinkedIn draft. Now here in marketing master. So here are my things. They don't look really pretty, do they? So there's my email. Boom. There it is. It's done for you. All you do, you can copy and paste it. Right. Yeah. There's my LinkedIn, and then here's my X. Okay. So, so, oh, then here's my Twitter. Sorry. That's my summary. Now these are made for you. They're done. They're ready to go. But like I said before, this day and age, people can tell that it's what we call work slop. That's the new term for it, where companies and individuals are just pumping out generated content all over the place, just making and all this content that nobody's reading, because as human beings, we still only have 24 hours in a day. So when you're sending out content, make sure it's good. Like, you've got to have good content. This is my idea. Remember, I filled in the form, and these are kind of the summary key points. I can make it, doing the actual part. And then it created this for me. Okay. This is done. Uncover your origin story. Yeah. And it can tell, the deep engagement and learning. And one of my company values, okay, is, so there's all the content, is push yourself, right? That is a company value, right, for me and my company. One of the maxims of my employees and my team is that if they don't know what to do, try it. Try something new and push yourself. You can do so much more than you ever imagined you could, but you want to push yourself. So again, these are all, you got a LinkedIn story, an email, and Twitter draft. I still call it Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm an old guy, but I should call it an X draft, I know. But this was all created just from this one brainstorming session that I had on my phone with on Telegram. And if you're wondering why Telegram, is because Telegram's free. Okay. Or like $13 US for a year for the pro level. It's really well priced. And I think, WhatsApp charges so much because they need to make up the 19 billion that, that Zuckerberg paid for it. So I'm kidding. I don't know about that. But the main thing is you've got this much. You've got this what came in on one. Now it's fired off a different three sets of content. I can take it and I can say, is this perfect? Okay. Is this me? I can put my name in there. I can put my philosophy in there. But most of the time, it's got push yourself here too. So these are my philosophy. And I'm like, where in generative does it actually show something like push yourself, right? Unless you've told it to. Okay, so this is step one. And then when I put it into the tweet, well, actually not the tweet, but in the email or the LinkedIn, I will also add, where is that? I've had it up all day long. Landing page, automated landing page, lead magnet. There we go. So what this is analyze any website with Gemini and get a one-page SEO audit. You guys, this will be in the worksheet later, or actually, I will give you guys a Google form all that. Oh, guest admit being guest. Sorry, just noticed that we had two more guests in there. Hey, Leo, begin. All right, just to catch you up and review. Sorry, Nico and Art, I won't take long. What we talked about was last week we looked at this an automation that created a publishing summary. I want to publish something. I get an idea and I can brainstorm on my phone with this automation. So it will just, talk to me back and forth. Once I'm good with it, I say, okay, I want to end this conversation. It gets the key points in the next steps. These are picked up by this automation. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, this automation that actually make it a little bit bigger for you guys to see. I got a bigger screen here. So it gets picked up here, and now it goes, let's say, okay, say it's not a publishing. It doesn't have the keyword publishing, which is right here, publishing. Then it will go to this Google Sheet, and we'll get all the information from that Google Sheet and pass it in, and it will create 3 chats. Then those chats will be picked up and sent to my master, which is here. So now I have the email, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Okay. And if you're thinking that this is very similar to this, it is. But you notice this time it said our journey began. This on every great company has a foundational story. These are frustrated by AI. It actually wrote 2 different things on the same input, which is pretty cool. And that's part of generative. And that's what we're doing here. Okay. So this is the content marketing. Now it will send out a Google Sheet. And like I said, where am I? Here, I will just copy and paste this into an email. But in all my emails that I'm sending out to my email list or wherever, I'm also creating, and for Google, if you've got a workplace account, you can send out a lot more. If you're just using a regular Gmail account, you can only send 100 emails per day. Be careful. Okay. And if you send an email through n8n to your regular Gmail account, it will give you, that's an email. Okay. So that counts. Okay. Anyway, back to my story here. So now I send it, it goes through an agent, it's saved. I now have a log of what I sent, when I sent it, and ready to go. This now I send out, so now I send out the email. And in that email, I'm adding this, okay, a link to this. Basically, well, so I say, this is a landing page. And all of my examples. Yeah, there we go. Copy. URL for landing page. Boom. And your email. Yes, I'm promoting myself. Thank you very much. Everybody take a picture. Okay. Now it will go out and it will, and I'll show you this in a minute. Once submitted. By the way, it takes a few minutes. So it doesn't, it's not instant. I got an email the other day. So basically, technical audit, content audit. So it's going to go through each one of these. And then it will send, actually, it's going to send you an email. All right. That would be you, this landing page URL. And it will send me an email. Right? But on your email, well, then now I have, I have contact with you. For anyone who sends this, I will send you an email myself and say, are you interested in being on my email list? I'm not going to be, I know I'm passing out bucks that way, but there it goes. It sent that email, and wait for it. There we go. Okay, so here's my one-page technical audit. Okay. Then, ooh ah. It's pretty cool, right? So I'm creating different, what we call lead magnet. Oh, you guys couldn't see that video. There you go. So I'm creating, and this is the audit that we just ran. Okay, boom, boom, right there, inbox. Okay, labels unread, and so back to the audit. Missing data tags, description, and you can use AI to fix these in just a minute. H2, direct promote. Okay, so suboptimal H1, H2. Then it's got some of these things. So that's how I'm going to do. My team and I have created a strategy where I will find something I want to publish, and we will also add a link to this. Then they send it, and it's adding value. Tony Robbins was really brilliant at this. He will just give you straight value, and then at the end, and one of the things he says all the way through, he's doing breadcrumbs all the way through, is you need to immerse yourself in what you're learning. You need to immerse yourself with other people. You need to immerse yourself. And then there at the end, it says, immerse yourself. It gives you a link, immerse your world or whatever it is. This is real and it works. Part of it is Tony Robbins. He's got a fame effect. And that's pretty huge. But in the end, it works. So you add value. I publish a piece. Then I add to it this one. And then in that, if they want it, then I will send them this. All right. Now this is another form. Can you guys see this? I don't think you can. What I'll do, waiting for the trigger. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, I will just copy this one so you guys can see it. go here. I think if your name is John, great. And I'll do John 5 and the rest of AI, and then the company is the X role EC. You don't, and these are not mandatory. The only mandatory is name, address. And are you interested in AI agents marketing? Yes, very interested. Ready to implement. And your current level of marketing automation, low or mostly manual. If I get someone who says that just curious, no immediate plans, right? and or they are, we're high, we're advanced automation place, they go to the do you want to join the wait list, okay, or just give me instant access to the SEO workflow. So I'm going to say, no, I want to join the wait list. I need to change that language. And we're mostly manual. But now I submit. Remember, they got my content before, they got this SEO audit form, and I will be doing this a lot more. Oh, I should be showing you what's going on. Okay, I missed it. Right. So, okay. So then we go form. Then it sends it through. Does it want to do it? Now, what I've done here is with the if qualification check. So if they don't want it, then it will send up here and just send them an email. If they don't qualify, they'll just send them an email with a link. Okay, because I don't want to wear, if someone, you want to automate your company and you want to know how, great, I want to work with you. But if you don't want to know how and you're not interested in automate it, then it's okay. Here, take the SEO. Now you've got the SEO, and you don't have to be on the wait list. So, just around a little bit. So now we've got the qualification. So yes, they want to be, take the course, or they want some automation. So we have the current wait list, and then we have an oversubscribed status. So for each workshop I do every week, I have a maximum of 10 people. And that's because I can't help that many more. When we do a workshop, like we'll have one on Saturday, we only keep a low number of people, so I can work with each one of you. Something I learned with AI and this automation stuff is it may look easy when I'm doing it here, but it's not. It's not so much that it's difficult, right? Even though I use a lot of automation to do it, it's checking capacity. Where's this check? Right? Setting up your email. So this is my Gmail account. I have two Gmail accounts. One is for my Gmail at gmail.com. The other one's for my work. Okay. And so I'm sending these, and basically it says down here, okay, you secured a spot in our elite queue. I love that. All right. No, back to the canvas. So if capacity, okay, that's if oversubscribed, you get the VIP. If wait list, okay, then instead of just being on our list, you're on our wait list. Okay. Thank you for joining our exclusive AI marketing automation program. We're thrilled to have you on our wait list. Okay. Why do we create a wait list? 2 sessions ago, we're in session 7 right now. We're just past halfway in this agentic AI workshops series. In week 5, we talked about a campaign scheduler. Basically, it asks you a few questions and it sets up your schedule for the entire year. Most startups just go out there and sign people up. But if you have a campaign schedule, you know whether you're on track, you know whether you're not on track. And if I'm on track, I get at least 10 people every week to a weekly, then I know I'll convert at least 2 of those. Then those two will go to the quarterly, right? I get 50 people at the quarterly, 40 people, 40 people at the quarterly, and then I have 4 quarters. Now 20 people at the quarterly, then we get at least 50 people for the end of the year. But it's not about the weekly, the quarterly, or the end of the year. It's about keeping track. Are we on track? And that's what these do. Often a startup founder would say, let's go get more business. Let's go get more business. Then, well, I need to take care of marketing. Well, now I'm doing marketing. These, when you're setting these up ahead of time to get to the point where it's keeping track for you. Okay. So now we've got the telegram that's sending you, here's the company, execute the step, and roll it to it. Because I was having trouble with this before. I made the fatal mistake of right before the session. There we go. Okay. Is to send, and it's still doing it. Okay. So, I need to update these roles because it's not like those. I made the fatal mistake to try to update something just before we started, and then now it's not updating. Okay. So, but next, use the step. So it was working before, now it's not. Anyway, so now I've got all this information on this new company, and it all started with me. I have an idea. I use my agent from last week, from a leadership agent. I brainstorm on Telegram. It gives me this output. That output is now picked up by there's the ideal fit. This one, and then it creates the content for those 3 drafts. I now check those 3 drafts and say, yes, I like it. No, I don't. And then add the SEO automation. This one. So actually, I can put this here. Copy form. I will put it in the chat. Okay. Don't let me forget. I have a lot more stuff to put in the chat. So now you can do your own automation, and I will ask you if you want to be part of my email list. Okay, so again, back to this wait list. Why do we want to have something like a wait list? Well, an interest, a sign of interest back here, okay? Are you interested? Is a key, okay? Depending on the commitment and your interest, you may need 100 people who've clicked through who are interested for 1 seat in a workshop, right? But if someone gets in a car and they drive across town to put in a deposit, that person's probably going to go to that workshop. But if it's just an easy online, this is a landing page reward, then they're going to. If they want to learn more, that's wonderful. And now it adds them to the sheet. It gets a current wait list, and again, it compares them to the limit, and then it will send out the email to like, okay, you are on the wait list, or you're on the you are our VIP. Okay, why are these like that? Okay, and so now, and then it sends me a telegram or my team, because I have it set to send that to a team bot in Telegram, and then we have the oversubscribe. All of this happens automatically. This is what we talk about agents. And in the future, when we go to agents, the world going to agents is going to be in a situation where these agents are going to we're going to be running a lot of these agents. Sorry, I'm trying to find the information so I can paste it into the chat so you guys can know how to get a hold of me. And so, program director, wait for it, wait for it. Okay, so now I'm pasting stuff into the chat, the WhatsApp chat or Zoom chat. Sorry, Zoom. There is a WhatsApp group which you're encouraged. You are encouraged. I encourage you to join that WhatsApp group. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you. And if you're in the group, you can send messages. But if you start spamming people, you're out. Okay. That's a WhatsApp FIAI for Hong Kong group. We send out some information. I think Leo, are you in that group? Yeah. And there's also a form in there that, yeah, okay. Then, yeah, so I don't spam you guys much, but I should probably send out more. There's a form for you to get this. If you join the FIAI group, then you get it. I'm recording this, right? I'm recording this with Fathom and on Zoom. The reason for both is record on Fathom. It's really useful for anyone who watches it. I mean, it blows Zoom away. But it's not that good for repurposing content. So when I can take this content that I can chop up this recording from the Zoom recording, and I can put, on the internet, in YouTube and tweets and stuff like that. I can use these, 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of this information, and I can repurpose it and send it out again. So I only have to do the one recording. But like I said, Zoom is much better because it's got a bigger screen, but it's not as good. It's not as handy to use. So yeah. So everyone, meeting group chat. Anyway, so there we go. Okay. So now the next thing I'm looking for is to tell you about Founders Institute. Okay. Founders Institute. And where is my university pitch? I think that's bad. Yeah, apologies. Like I said, I was working up right up until we started, and presentation pitch. Oh no, old fashioned. Well, there it is. Apologies. One more thing. If you're not using, if you're creating workflows and you're not using Claude Sonnet, you should. Okay. I can come in here and say, I want a workflow that does this. And I'll do a little back and forth with them with Claude. And then, okay, yes, that's what I want. Go for it. And let's go down here a little bit. And then, maybe we need to brainstorm a little bit more. So, workflow, and we want to add Telegram. And that's that no content that I just broke a few minutes ago. All right. And so this does it, and then it will create it. And I just copy and then paste it into the workflow. Right. Just delete everything in here and just paste it in. And ta-da, it worked. Okay. And you need to go back and forth to make sure. Sometimes it will blow these away. Like a while back, I had created a workflow that was sending emails. I was sending it from my Gmail account. And in one iteration, it totally took them out and put some regular email account in there. And I'm like, yeah, now it's time for me to switch chats because this one's getting a little bit tired. By the way, if you are working in a chat and it's, it goes way down here and it starts to get what I call sick, it just stops working. That may be because the chat is tired. The chat will get, because remember, every time you run a chat or a discussion, it's looking through everything else that's in that chat every time. Okay. I guess some of the newer models, like especially 5.0 for GPT, is supposedly going, it actually has a way to summarize, so it doesn't go all the way through and redo it. But the rest of them don't have that yet. Okay. And so what that does is it just keeps them from getting sick, what I call getting sick and tired, and then they don't work. But when you do get something that is tired, just take your last iteration that you like. And for me, I just click download, and then I bring it into, I just start a new chat and tell it what to fix. And then there you go. Right? So, in the world today, we have three market forces: social, massive startups initiatives around the world. Then the economic market force, which is the second market force, is that funding is tighter on average. There's so much going into that AI stuff in Silicon Valley right now. There's not much for the rest of us. And then the third is here in Founders Institute, we've created an AI platform. So you are using AI tools in the Founders Institute program. The problem is every day in and day out, Sakib told me this, is 137,000 startups are launched worldwide. That's every single day. And most of them are going to be unsuccessful. In fact, only 5% are going to be successful. And why is that? Generally, founders have a good idea, but they don't know all the ins and outs of getting funding, of how to build that idea to a strong company, even if you go bootstrap, right? Then if you plan on going bootstrap, you don't need Founders Institute, right? If you're going to go start a tutor center on the corner, that's not an entrepreneurial idea. And so you don't need us as an accelerator. But if you have a good idea that no one's done before, and this is my information, this will get you access to the notes, right? And I will end the recordings, and the these AI agents too. So you get the agents, you get the notes, and if you add here, basically I just put your, this is a form that when you fill it out, it will give you access to the Google Drive. When you submit the form, it says, okay, thank you for submitting, here's your link. But if you just join the WhatsApp group, I think you still have access. If I put that in there, I don't know, can't remember. But anyway, so that's almost it. What I'm going to do is, I know the promo piece for Founders Institute said it's 2 hours long. And I'm like, what? I didn't say that. That's not what I filled out in the form. But it's only supposed to be an hour because in the past we used to have guest speakers, and basically they would pitch their company. And so I realized that that's not as popular, and so that's why we switched the schedule and give you guys the value first and then the promo later. But anyway, what I'm going to ask all of you to do is, if you have a question, send me a WhatsApp or send me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn, or send me another email there. But the main thing is join this WhatsApp group and join this. And in that form, basically, you fill out this form. It will ask you, can I contact you? I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to add you to an email list until I've directly talked to you or sent you a WhatsApp or an email, because that's just how I work. I know I'm passing up a lot of extra contacts and connections, but I'm also doing it with integrity. And I think that's important nowadays. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for coming and staying with us. The main thing is I will be passing on the Fathom recording, right, which is right here next to me on that side. And in the WhatsApp group. So join that WhatsApp group if you haven't already. I know Leo and I think Art is in there too. So anyway, if you have any questions or if you're available on Saturday and you want to go on a deep dive into these agents, then let me know. I have a training on Saturdays. It's not something that I'm making money with. It's although it pays the bills and I still charge, but it's more for founders and extra value. Because I'm just charging. Actually, the only reason I'm charging is to make sure people show up. Because if you just offer a free training, the signups are big, but the show ups aren't so much. And so the main thing is I just wanted to add value to the founders here in Hong Kong. And with that, I will thank you all for coming, bid you adieu, and we will thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. And always useful. Thank you. And we will see you guys in the next one. 2 weeks, we will be looking at operations. 4 weeks, we'll be looking at the finance function, the finance and record keeping. So keep those in mind, and you'll be on the list, and I'll share it with you. Okay, everybody, bye now.